Hi, it's Barry Moore back with another Tactical 20 podcast.
Welcome to the Active Marketer Podcast, where we talk about how to design, automate, and scale your business to the next level using sales and marketing automation. You can find out all the tips, tactics, and techniques you need to get more customers and sell more stuff over at theactivemarketer.com. Now, here's your host, Barry Moore.
Hi, I'm your host, Barry Moore, and this is going to be another Tactical 20 podcast. The Tactical 20 podcasts are all about giving you an actionable tip, technique, or tactic that you can take away and implement in your business in less than 20 minutes. All right, this week's Tactical 20 subject is going to be all about lists. Getting lots of new people migrating across to ActiveCampaign, and those people in our Automation Nation private Facebook group asking a lot of questions about how you sign people up to your list and how to structure your list. So I thought we might do this quick Tactical 20 on how to structure your list strategy when you first come over to ActiveCampaign. So if you're coming across from one of the kind of more primitive email service providers like MailChimp or AWeber, you're probably used to the concept of having to have multiple lists. You know, we need this list for these type of people, this list for these people who have signed up for this lead magnet, this people have opted in over here, so we need to put them on a different list. When they buy product A, we move them over to the product A list. So you're probably used to having multiple lists. And then I see people come across to ActiveCampaign or Entreport or any of the kind of more marketing automation focused platforms, and they still have that multiple list mindset, and they go about creating multiple lists, basically the same list setup inside ActiveCampaign that they would have in something like AWeber. Now, you absolutely can do that if you want to, but I really think you need to flush that multiple list paradigm from your head, because the way the marketing automation platforms are set up is to be a database, not just a collection of lists. And what I mean by that is everybody goes into the database, and then we separate them out by certain things, tags or behaviors or that sort of thing. You can actually import people into ActiveCampaign and they'll not be on any list whatsoever. They just live in your contact database, independent of any particular list. So, having said that, what's the best way to set up your list structure? Well, first of all, again, there's no one right way that addresses every circumstance, but for most people, what I find works the best is to have a couple of different lists. And how do you know when you need a separate list? Basically, I say, if you're messaging those people radically differently or significantly differently, maybe they belong on a different list. So the perfect example would be customers and suppliers. So if your business has a bunch of customers, you're talking to them with certain messaging, you're talking to them in a certain way. Your suppliers you would talk to in a completely different way. So that you're not trying to upsell and cross-sell your suppliers to buy your products. You're talking about your marketing efforts and your partnership plans and all that other kind of stuff. So let's focus on kind of what most people seem to need when they first come across is they have this concept of people who have subscribed to the list and then people who buy from them. So, if you've got 10 products, do I need to have 10 different lists and move people between lists? So here's the thing with ActiveCampaign, it's a relational database. You don't need to quote unquote move people between lists. What I suggest is a simple setup for most people is they have two lists. You have your main list, which includes everybody. Those people who subscribe from you, those people who have bought from you, all go on the same master list or main list or house list, you'll sometimes hear it called as well. And the way that we separate those people on that list is by giving them tags. So I know John bought product XYZ from us because I've given him the product XYZ tag. That tells me he's bought that particular product. So I can go back to my main list and I can say, show me everybody who's got the product XYZ tag. And those are only the people on my list who have bought that product. And I can create what's called a list segment and send out a message only to that particular segment of my list. So everybody goes on your main list. I also suggest that you have a second list for customers, so people who have bought from you. And the only reason for this is right? So you've got your main list, and all your marketing stuff goes out from your main list, right? So all your newsletters, your offers, your RSS feed emails, everything goes out from that main list, all your marketing material. Your customers who have bought from you, say they bought product XYZ, and they decide they don't want your weekly newsletter anymore, they don't want your marketing material anymore, and they unsubscribe from your main list. If they're on a secondary customer list, we can continue to talk to them and send them non-marketing related messages like their invoices or product updates or bugs or fixes to a particular product. Non-marketing related stuff can still go to them because they're on a separate list. So once again, I say you should have your main list with everyone segmented by tags, and then you create list segments for each significant segment of that list. Then you have and that's where all your marketing material goes from. Then you have a customer list, which is just for people who bought from you, and that's for non-marketing related communications. So that's the basic setup that I kind of give to everybody when they first come across, and I find that it works really, really well. I'd love to hear how your lists are set up. So if you want to head over to theactivemarketer.com/34 for episode 34, theactivemarketer.com/34, scroll to the bottom, leave us a comment in the notes there. Tell us how you've got your list set up. Maybe you've come up with a better plan than I have. Or you can also join us over on Facebook on our Automation Nation private Facebook group. Just go to Facebook, search Automation Nation. We'll let you in and we can discuss all about how you set up lists and list segments that best fit your business. So that's this week's Tactical 20 podcast. Appreciate you spending time with us. Tune in next week for another great interview with Ian Brody. We'll see you next week, everybody. All right, that's our Tactical 20 podcast for this week. If you have any questions or any topics you'd like to see covered on future Tactical 20 podcasts, you can always send me an email at Barry, B-A-R-R-Y, at theactivemarketer.com and let us know what you'd like to see. Also, if you head over to the show notes for this episode and just leave a comment in any of the episode show notes, tell us what you'd like to see and we'll make sure we cover it on an upcoming episode. So get out there and design, automate, and scale your business to the next level using sales and marketing automation. See you next week, everybody.
Thanks for listening to the Active Marketer Podcast. You can find the show notes and all the latest marketing automation news over at theactivemarketer.com.